Thank you. Happy Black History Month. Right. Freedom. Talking about freedom today. Freedom is one of our most cherished words. We sing it, we celebrate it, and we claim it as a birthright. And somehow, when we slow down long enough to ask what freedom actually is, the answer becomes uncomfortable and far more demanding. Freedom is often described as the absence of constraint, the ability to choose, to move, and to live without interference. Anyone feel that sense of freedom in your life by a show of hands? Just saying, I'm just saying. While that definition sounds appealing, it's also incomplete. Because if freedom were simply about individual choice, then it would already belong to everyone equally, right? And we know it does not. So the phrase, freedom ain't free, is a phrase that shows up everywhere. I see it on bumper stickers, I've heard it in speeches, at halftime shows before the fireworks light the sky. Maybe even tonight, we might hear the phrase said during the Super Bowl. It is often spoken with certainty, as if meaning things are settled. But when we slow it down, when we let the words breathe, they ask something of us. If freedom isn't free, then who paid for it? And if freedom isn't free, then the question isn't whether it costs, but who bears the cost and who benefits from it. So in America, freedom has always been a complicated issue. From the beginning, liberty was proclaimed on one hand while denied on the other. This nation, America, founded on ideals of equality while depending economically on enslaved labor and the theft of indigenous land. That contradiction wasn't a footnote in American history, it actually was the foundation. So freedom wasn't free. Freedom was spoken into existence by oppressed people worldwide, not just here in America, India, Europe. Enslaved people did not wait patiently for freedom to arrive. They resisted, they ran, they revolted. They prayed and plotted and imagined liberation long before it was legal. And the Civil War did not suddenly awaken America's conscience. It forced the issue through unimaginable sacrifice. Someone didn't hand down freedom, right? Groups of marginalized people paid a tremendous cost. And even then, it was still incomplete. After emancipation came Reconstruction. After Reconstruction came backlash. Freedom, again, was narrowed through black codes, through Jim Crow laws, through lynching, voter suppression, and economic exclusion. Each expansion of freedom was met with deliberate political resistance. Each step forward was followed by a deliberate effort to pull people back. Sounds familiar? Because this ain't the 1800s anymore, right? As Frederick Douglass reminded us, power concedes nothing without a demand. Freedom has never expanded because those in power suddenly became generous. It has expanded because people demanded it again and again, over and over again. And the civil rights movement made this truth undeniable. Children marched, elders were put in jail, bodies absorbed violence so that future generations might walk freer. And the price was paid in Birmingham jails, on Selma's Bridge, and in Memphis. And the names of the fallen are not abstractions, they are testimonies. And still, freedom remains unfinished. That unfinished story shows up not only in our history books that they want to ban, but also in our music, our movies, and our art. Pop culture often tells us the truth before policy ever does. When Kendrick Lamar raps about survival and systemic injustice, he is echoing a long tradition of prophetic truth-telling, naming a freedom promised but withheld. When films like Selma or 13th confront mass incarceration and radicalized punishment, they remind us that freedom can be quietly revoked, bureaucratically, without chains ever being present on our screens. So freedom today is still rationed. Freedom ain't free. And the invoice is being still sent to the margins. Unitarian Universalism, though, does not allow us the comfort of selective memory. Our faith calls us to tell the truth about who we are and who we have been. Freedom in our tradition has not been a static achievement. It is a spiritual practice. None of us is truly free while others are trapped by fear, poverty, and exclusion. And freedom is not something we possess alone. We build it together, or not at all, right? So when we say freedom ain't free, it means something deeper than patriotism. Let it mean responsibility. Let it mean courage. Let it mean a willingness to pay the cost, not with someone else's suffering, but with our own commitment. Which brings me to beloved community. Because this congregation is not an idea. This congregation is real, and it is a real responsibility. And responsibilities require resources. This beloved community does not and did not appear by accident. It was built carefully, intentionally, and collectively by our founders who saw a need and responded to it. This beloved community is built through programs that offer sanctuary and support, and we do that through ministries that show up when harm is real and the policies are cruel. Through ministries willing to not only fund other missions beyond us, Justice Action Ministry, $49,000 last year, but also do so in a culture that often withholds it. In Florida, especially, the beloved community, this place is not just the place to be, it is a lifeline. It is period packing when period poverty is real. It is providing pastoral care and providing support when fear and grief are constant companions, and also providing and nurturing safe spaces for everyone who needs it. Freedom ain't free, and neither is beloved community. So the question before us is not whether these ministries matter, because we know they do. The question is whether we are willing to invest in them, to share the cost of freedom rather than cutting back on the progress we've made in my time here. So stewardship in this sense is not about just keeping the lights on. It's about keeping hope alive. It's about choosing to fund a future where dignity is not negotiable and justice is not delayed. The reality is we fund what we believe. When I was a Baptist, the Reverend Dr. Larry Williams used to say every pledge campaign, if you truly want to know what's important to a person, look at their bank statements. If you look at my bank statements, you will find bills, streaming subscriptions, food, but random donations to places and people that need it, including this congregation. I don't have the most money, and in fact, I might be underpaid simply because I live in Palm Beach County. That's real. But when it comes to things I believe in, you best believe I have no problem giving my time, talent, or treasures. So when we fully fund this beloved community, we are saying we resist those policies and practices here in a place like Florida because freedom belongs to everyone. We are saying that this liberal spiritual community is worth what I am able to give. And please, don't email me talking about how you cannot give, okay? Don't email me, okay? Because while we need to meet our budget, hear me clearly, this isn't just about money. I'm not talking about just money. This is about time and talent as well. Join the board, learn about governance. Join our membership committee and help us spread our word. Join the Buildings and Grounds Committee to help keep this place beautiful. You want to see something different in Sunday service? Well, join the Sunday Service Committee. Join the Beloved Community Advisory Board to help us expand our outreach. There's plenty of work to do around here. I don't know whether you guys know this or not, but we have a leadership crisis in this congregation. We are struggling. And I know, I get it. Some folks are tired. Some folks have been doing this for years. Some folks are burnt out. But others are afraid to step up, believing that you won't have any support. Because I heard it. Someone said that to me. And I'm here to tell you, you will. This minister is very involved in the life of this church, and I attend just about every committee meeting. And if I don't, I meet with your chairperson in advance of the meeting. If you have questions about programs or how to start one, you can talk to Greg. Anything else, you can come to me or go to your neighbor. I can help you find your place in this community because no one should be shut out of living out what they are called to do. However, us not meeting our budget within the next week will have dire consequences for this community. So I want you to ask yourself, if we don't meet our budget, will you still be able to attend your favorite programs? Will things still be the same around here? What does that mean for this community? So friends, freedom isn't free. Beloved community isn't free. We have to give into it just as we receive from it. And may we be a people honest about the cost, courageous in our commitment, and generous enough to build the world we keep saying we want. Blessed be, Amen, Ashe, Shalom, and Salam.